but the government still is too big. Not just too big, also in some sense unlimited. As the power is too powerful. One reason is so powerful is the state sector is so big. State sector still contribute about 40% of GDP, and particularly it monopolized some important industry, infrastructure, utility, which actually raise cost of other sector, private sectors. For example, like today, state banks, all Chinese major state banks controlled by state. And last year, all these 4 state banks' profit account for half of all listed companies. It's more than 2,000 listed companies. There's 4 banks' profit, nearly half of that. So that is a signal that is these banks enjoying monopoly power. Their profit is not I call entrepreneurial profit, but monopoly profit. Entrepreneurial profit means you create value for other people. But monopoly profit means you get profit by exploiting other people. That's income redistribution, not value creation. So China needs to do a lot of things to go to more free market. But still, I think it's still some variance, including ideological problem, which China needs to deal with that.
But most of the banking system credit is still directed toward either state-owned companies or people who are very well connected with the state.
There's suppose you are a banker, and who you should lend to. If you lend to state sector, you have no political risk. That means if this loan cannot be paid, that is not your problem. That is the government problem. That is the state sector problem. But if you lend loan to private sector, if they cannot pay back, that's your problem. You face political risk. So that's why all banks prefer to lend to state sector, not private sector. So that's why you can say very important phenomenon. China created so much money, so big expansion of credit, but the interest rate is so high. That is
doesn't make sense.
Very interesting phenomenon. If a West country like America, you create so much credit, so much loss, interest will go down almost zero. But China, no matter how much money you created, that does not drive interest rate to zero.
Right. Chinese M2, I think, is almost twice what U.S. M2 is, even though their economy is much smaller. So at least on paper, they have a lot of liquidity floating around, but short-term rates are still very, very high, and obtaining short-term credit if you're not affiliated with the government is very difficult.
All these signals are some mechanism, institutional problem. That is transaction cost very, very high. This transaction cost is much caused by the government intervention, regulation, and low trust between traders.
What do you think the prospects are in that sector? And that's a crucial sector in the Chinese economy, in finance, in the banking system. What, in your opinion, are the prospects for the government to back away a little bit and allow that sector, particularly the big banks, some more freedom in terms of policy and setting their own parameters for risk and interest rates?
Certainly the government needs to liberalize the financial control, deregulate, make banks more competitive. Also, I think China needs more private banks. Certainly, foreign banks come to China is good for competition. China we need local private banks. So far, to my knowledge, there's only probably one private bank. One private bank. We need more. And also, probably better way is to privatize this state bank by gradually selling the state shares to private. Like today, state government holds more than 75% of state bank stock. That can reduce that gradually. Like the first step reduced to 50%, then like 40, 30%. Gradually make it really like a bank. Not today, it's called bank, but actually not a true bank.
They're more like public utilities.
Yes,
that are governed
they always they need to obey government policy. And recently, I met a CEO of a bank who just resigned from his position. I asked why you resign. He said it's too difficult to do because government gave me more orders. I must obey that. I don't like to obey that, so I think I will do my own business.
Do you think, what are the odds that they will allow a gradual privatization, since that sector really, they use to direct capital flows through the whole economy?
Oh, that is difficult to say. I sometimes, what I talk is my suggestion and my hope. And in reality, there are a lot of other factors affect what the government will do, particularly the financial sector. I think the government is very, very cautious to reform.
So back to economics. The teaching of economics globally is really leaned toward either neoclassical, sort of mathematically based modeling, or kind of a political Keynesian tilt. In China, is the teaching of economics sort of similar to the rest of the world in terms of its inclination, or is there a little bit more? I mean, you would really, in the United States, you would really stick out like a sore thumb in terms of your approach to teaching economics at a university level. And are there more logical thinkers in the Chinese academic system?
For a long time, Chinese economics means market economics.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was taught during my undergraduate study. I learned the West economics myself. I self-taught, and I also taught my classmates. That forced me to try to understand West economics. And but gradually, I find that certainly after like 20 years ago, I co-founded China Center for Economic Research of Peking University. We introduced the West mainstream economy in China. But gradually, I realized that there's a big problem. And some people argue that it's the mainstream or neoclassical economics beautify market, all beautify market. The market is not so good as the economy suppose. But my argument, like actually neoclassical economics, amplify market, not beautify market. That make actually market is better than what economics suppose. Neoclassical economics suppose. Reason is when economists prove efficiency of a market, they made some important assumptions like no externality, no asymmetric information, no monopoly. Reality is not like that. When people say, oh, this assumption is not met, the market must fail. It's market failure theory. Then we need a lot of government intervention, right? But actually, market does not depend on that assumption. Market does not need that assumption. Only economists need that assumption to prove market efficiency. That's different from market itself. So I call it, we confuse market feeling with market failure with market theory failure.
Right.
Yeah, I think no probably the real market theory failure. The economists do not give a good economics of the market. How market works? Market is a process to discover information, demand, what people need, and also discover solution. The market is something like a cooperative mechanism. Make people help each other. If government do not interfere, and everyone will have to find his way to solve other people's problem before he can make himself rich, profitable. So that's what I call my book, The Logic of the Market. Simply speaking, what I mean is the logic of market is that if you want to be happy, you must make other people happy first. And that you must make a value. You must find a solution to the other people's problem before you can make your own rich. You can get any salary, profit, anything valuable for you. So I think that we need to read this, have new understanding about the market.
Right. So every time you have a discontinuity in the markets, particularly ones that are heavily regulated, people talk about market failures, and then they talk about that requires the government to go in and even disrupt the market further.
Yes, it's a market failure theory is totally wrong. It's totally wrong. Let me give you an example. And economists suppose that if there's asymmetric information, that's the something seller know, buyer does not know, there will be market failure. But according to like Hayek's theory, I'd like to summarize that. Why we need market? Just because asymmetric information. Actually, why market is so efficient? Because of asymmetric information. That everyone specialized. You only need little knowledge. You do not need other, like economists. I only need some knowledge about economics or a related field. I do not need to understand the physics, chemistry, other field. That's why market is so efficient. You know, the market also has its own way to solve this problem. If we believe traditional or mainstream economics theory, that is asymmetric information leads to market failure, market will never exist. Market even asymmetric information is the nature of division of labor, nature of specialization. So that is totally different. So that is why I think we need to learn more from Mises, from Hayek, and or generally Austrian school economics. And this is a totally different paradigm. But most economists treat in mainstream economics so difficult. And Hayek wrote his paper 80 years ago, but most economists even never read it. You know? So that is the problem. Also, let me give you another example, like competition. In economics, basic competition is what we call perfect competition. Perfect competition means everyone, every firm produce the same thing, same quality, and with same technology, sell at the same price. That is competition. Competition means we do differently. We do better than other people. But according to economics, when you do differently, when you do better than other people, that creates monopoly. So we showed anti-monopoly. So I call it the nature of anti-monopoly, actually anti-competition. Yeah, perfect competition means no competition. That is Hayek's words, not my words. Perfect competition means no competition.
Prices can never go down, and the product doesn't get improved.
So that is also, we think is innovation is the most important for economic growth, right? But the perfect competition is totally incompatible with innovation. If you do any innovation, you will create of monopoly, which economists call monopoly. Yeah, so if just do everything the same, as other people, that is perfect competitor. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, some people say, oh, this is a benchmark. Certainly, reality is not like that. Why we need so bad benchmark? We need new economics, new paradigm.
Why don't we pause for a moment, and I'll take a question or two from the audience, pass it along to the professor.
Yeah, so going back to malinvestment, as you can hear, yes. Going back to the issue of malinvestment, I was wondering if you could speak briefly about the ghost cities in China, the cities that are being built that are generally very empty, and also going back to talking about the banking sector in terms of how the banks are actually taking lots of losses in terms of all this malinvestment that's catching up over time. So I was wondering if you could talk about the malinvestment we see in the construction of these cities, right, that consumers don't need or want, and then how that's related to troubles in the Chinese banking system today.
Yeah, there are we call the ghost cities quite a lot. As the local government has strong incentive because they control land. If a house or property price up, they can get more revenue from selling this land. And certainly for banks, this is safest way to make land. It's much safer than your land to manufacture. A lot of reasons create this problem. And also, sometimes the government uses the property market as a macro policy. Like after the financial crisis, government wants to stimulate this economy, they encourage people to buy a second house. Then when if price is very high, government will use other kind of measures to try to break down this market. I mean, it's China's house market problem, much created by government intervention, government ownership of land. And any land you want to transfer from like agricultural land to property, housing land, you must get a permit from government. Yeah, that is one reason. And that is also, I think, yes, I think this is related to banks' problem. And certainly the government can hide this problem and make it happen, first, later. But eventually, I think that is a big issue government needs to deal with.
So just a very quick follow-up about how the Chinese banks and the government are hiding a lot of these losses on their balance sheets, doing that sort of thing. Mises talks about this, how you can prolong the business cycle by continuing to inflate, continue to do that, but ultimately it's going to come crashing down. So I wonder if you could just comment briefly on what do you think that will look like, where they can't hide the problem forever, the problem is growing on the balance sheets. What do you think we'll see 5, 10, 15 years down the road? Like, when will they not be able to hide it anymore?
Yeah, it become more and more difficult. I must say that I think Mises' high business cycle model explains China's situation quite well, much better than other economic models. As you bank credits, create demand, made entrepreneurs. They saw, oh, this is a good investment opportunity. They made a lot of investment. Then they started finding they could sell their products. So they have a problem. But today, governments still try to counter this problem by creating more credits. But eventually, it will difficult. But how long, I don't know. When that problem will happen, it's difficult to predict. But I think it's very important to remember that if you try to make it longer,